Urologist, use bicarbonate like this and see what happens to your size. Explained. Hello, I am Josley, a communicator deeply involved in urological health, male wellness, and the nuances of maturity. Many of you may recognize me on this channel as Dr. Josley. This is because I have dedicated years to approaching subjects that are often rarely discussed in clinical consultations with calmness and openness. My aim is to provide clear, honest explanations about the truths concerning size, circulation, and the daily habits that can either bolster or undermine your intimate health. Today, we are embarking on an exploration into a topic that consistently sparks a great deal of curiosity: bicarbonate. You know it as that common white powder found in your kitchen, the one your grandmother might have used for a myriad of household tasks. Now it has found its way into viral videos, promising almost miraculous results for enhancing size and potency. My sincere hope is that by the end of this discussion, when you encounter phrases like "use bicarbonate this way and see what happens to your size," you will be able to respond with a calm smile, knowing precisely what constitutes truth, what is a mere myth, and how to utilize this substance responsibly to nurture your body rather than inadvertently harm it. For a considerable period, the notion has persisted that there exists some singular, perfect trick, an ideal concoction, or a clandestine homemade recipe capable of altering your physical size as if your body were a malleable form of clay. We hear discussions about specialized baths, intricate massages, and mixtures involving lemon, vinegar, and baking soda, all posited as if the intimate tissues were akin to a balloon simply waiting to be inflated further. However, the human body operates on a far more intricate and nuanced biological framework. Your physical dimensions are fundamentally determined by a complex interplay of genetics, hormonal influences, and developmental processes that occur much earlier in life. These are not factors that can be significantly altered by something you apply externally at age 50 or a powder you ingest at 60. What can be profoundly influenced and indeed significantly improved is the capacity of that tissue to fill with blood, the quality of your erections, your overall confidence, and your inherent vitality. It is precisely within this realm that certain habits, including some specific applications of baking soda, can exert an indirect positive influence, though never to the exaggerated extent that has been so aggressively marketed to you. I want to begin by addressing a crucial point with absolute transparency. There is a profound lack of robust scientific evidence to support the claim that baking soda, when used on its own, can permanently increase physical size. There is no scientifically validated baking soda cream, no medically endorsed baking soda bath, and certainly no miracle elixir containing baking soda that possesses the power to fundamentally alter the structural composition of your intimate tissues. What demonstrably exists is a dangerous amalgamation of aggressive marketing tactics, the desperation born from insecurity and pervasive misinformation that capitalizes on your existing vulnerabilities. You might wonder why this particular narrative resonates so powerfully. The answer lies in the deeply ingrained societal baggage surrounding male anatomy, a subject still heavily laden with shame, comparison, and a pervasive culture of silence. Many men harbor the misconception that they fall below average when, in reality, they are comfortably within the normal spectrum. Consequently, when an individual emerges promising more size with an exceptionally inexpensive ingredient like baking soda, the temptation to believe becomes almost overwhelming. My role today is not to sell you another elusive trick, but rather to empower you to reclaim genuine control over your well-being. Before we delve into the practical applications of baking soda, it is imperative that you fully grasp its fundamental nature. Baking soda, scientifically known as sodium bicarbonate, is a common salt widely utilized in culinary practices, primarily recognized for its alkaline properties. Its role in baking, for instance, is to release gas, thereby facilitating the rise of dough. Within the human body, its most recognized medical application is as an antacid employed in specific specific circumstances to neutralize excess stomach acidity. In a controlled hospital setting, it has also been administered to rectify critically specific imbalances in blood pH, always under close medical supervision. In the realm of sports science, it has been investigated for its potential as a buffer, helping to mitigate the acidity generated by periods of intense physical exertion. In essence, bicarbonate is far from being a magical panacea. It is a precisely defined chemical agent with specific uses, potential benefits, and clear risks associated with its misuse or overuse. Now you might be asking, what precisely does this have to do with your intimate health and physical size? This is where the most pertinent and fascinating aspects emerge. A man's intimate response is overwhelmingly influenced by the health of his blood circulation, the efficiency of his nerve function, and his overall hormonal equilibrium. Consequently, any factor that enhances the health of your blood vessels, positively impacts your blood pressure, improves your metabolic function, or reduces systemic inflammation can directly contribute to firmer erections and a more robust expression of your existing physical attributes. It is not about increasing your fundamental size, but rather about allowing what you have to be displayed at its optimal capacity. Conversely, any element that compromises this vital circulation, such as excessive salt intake, uncontrolled hypertension, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, or the use of tobacco, will invariably diminish this erectile capacity. So, where does baking soda fit into this picture? When consumed naively or in excessive quantities, it can introduce a substantial amount of sodium into your system, potentially impacting your blood pressure and placing an undue burden on your kidneys and heart. Put another way, if misused, it can actively work against the very goals you are trying to achieve: robust circulation and sustained intimate vitality. Let me paint a scenario to illustrate. Imagine a gentleman named Ernesto who is 65 years old. He stumbles upon a video that makes a bold promise. If he consumes baking soda on an empty stomach for a month, his size will increase and his performance will rival that of his 20s. Without seeking further information or questioning the claims, he simply replicates the recipe: a large tablespoon of baking soda dissolved in water every morning. After a few weeks, he begins to experience digestive disturbances, bloating, and occasional bouts of nausea. He perseveres, believing these symptoms are merely a necessary part of the transformation process. Soon, however, he notices more troubling signs. He feels persistently bloated, his blood pressure shows a slight but concerning increase, and his sleep quality deteriorates. His intimate function, far from improving, becomes increasingly erratic. What has transpired? He hasn't increased his size, but he has undeniably disrupted his internal physiological balance. He has introduced excess sodium, placed increased strain on his cardiovascular system, and is experiencing generalized physical discomfort. His body is signaling distress, yet he remains fixated on achieving a result that scientific evidence has never promised. In stark contrast, allow me to introduce you to another individual, Luis, who is 58 years old. He too hears about baking soda, but he adopts a far more judicious approach. He does not view it as a quick fix for size enhancement. Instead, he considers it as a potential, albeit minor, component within a broader strategy for comprehensive health management. He might occasionally use it in his cooking to temper the acidity of certain dishes, always maintaining a consumption level within reasonable limits. More importantly, Luis understands that the true path to improved well-being lies in enhancing his circulation. He commits to daily walks, actively manages his weight, significantly reduces his intake of ultra-processed foods, develops strategies for managing stress, and cultivates a stronger sense of self-confidence with his partner. Luis might consider a warm bath, incorporating a small pinch of baking soda to soothe mild skin irritations in the genital area or groin, provided he avoids direct application to the penis, refrains from aggressive scrubbing, and does not harbor the illusion that it will alter his size. In his hands, baking soda serves as a gentle aid for skin comfort, not as a tool for reshaping his physique. This is where the product rightfully belongs, as a supportive element, not the central focus. Let us now examine some of the most prevalent ways baking soda is associated with the intimate area and what benefits, or lack thereof, it can truly offer. A common practice involves sitz baths, soaking the perineal area in warm water with a modest amount of baking soda. This can provide relief from superficial irritations, chafing, or minor discomfort on the external skin. For some men who experience excessive sweating or have particularly sensitive skin, this can indeed help to neutralize odors and alleviate feelings of itchiness. It is critically important to clarify a fundamental point. These baths primarily affect the skin's surface. They do not penetrate to the deeper tissues or influence internal blood vessels. They do not modify physical structures, nor do they contribute to any enlargement. What they can achieve is an enhancement of comfort. And when you feel more comfortable, cleaner, and fresher, your self-assurance naturally improves. This elevated confidence, in turn, can positively influence your perception of your own physical attributes and performance. Another area of frequent discussion is the oral consumption of baking soda. This is precisely where the need for extreme caution is paramount. Yes, small, carefully measured amounts of baking soda, taken on an occasional basis, can offer relief from transient gastric acidity. However, transforming this into a daily regimen or a ritualistic practice aimed at enhancing size is a significant misstep. Every teaspoon you ingest contributes to your body's sodium load. For a mature man who may already have a predisposition towards hypertension, edema, or kidney issues, this can easily tip the delicate physiological balance in an unfavorable direction. This can lead to increased blood pressure, heightened vascular stiffness, and an elevated risk factor for compromised intimate circulation. In essence, it can have the exact opposite effect of what you are striving to achieve: healthy circulation and robust intimate function. Employing baking soda as if it were a male tonic fundamentally distorts its intended role within the body. Now, I would like us to reframe our perspective on the topic of size, adopting an approach that is both more realistic and profoundly more liberating. When a man expresses a desire to increase his physical size, what he often truly seeks is not a mere increase in physical dimensions, but rather a profound enhancement in his sense of security, his perceived capability, and his overall confidence in his intimate responses. What he is genuinely searching for is not an alteration in centimeters, but a transformation in his lived experience: fewer perceived failures, diminished fear, and greater consistency. And here lies a crucial insight. If your circulatory system is functioning optimally, your blood pressure is reasonably well managed, your blood sugar levels are within healthy parameters, and your nervous system is not overwhelmed by chronic stress, then your intimate tissues will be better supplied with blood and will maintain firmness for a more extended period. What does baking soda have to do with this intricate web of factors? Perhaps more than you might initially assume, but not because it directly causes enlargement. Rather, its misuse can actively sabotage the very circulatory health that is so essential for your intimate well-being. Consider your body as an exquisitely balanced, delicate system. The pH of your blood, for instance, is maintained within a remarkably narrow and tightly regulated range. Your body possesses sophisticated internal mechanisms involving your lungs, kidneys, and various buffer systems to achieve and preserve this vital equilibrium. When someone suggests that alkalizing your entire body with baking soda will magically resolve all your health concerns, including intimate potency, they are engaging in a gross oversimplification of a profoundly complex biological process. You do not need to artificially correct your blood pH with spoonfuls of a powder. What you most critically require are fundamental lifestyle improvements: sleeping more soundly, engaging in regular physical activity, adopting a diet with reduced salt and sugar content, ceasing the use of tobacco products, ensuring adequate hydration, effectively managing stress, and and, when necessary, consulting with a healthcare professional to adjust any existing medications. These are the genuine pathways that foster your functional size, the inherent capacity for what you already possess to express itself at its absolute maximum potential. Now, let us address the practicalities of using baking soda responsibly, ensuring it does not inadvertently become a silent adversary to your circulatory health. Firstly, treat it with respect. It is not a confection, nor is it an innocuous supplement. It is a chemical agent with genuine physiological effects. If you choose to use it as an antacid, do so on an occasional basis and strictly adhere to the product's recommended dosage guidelines, rather than improvising with the enormous quantities sometimes suggested online. If you have pre-existing conditions such as hypertension, kidney disease, heart failure, or are currently taking specific medications, it is imperative to consult with your doctor before undertaking any oral consumption of baking soda. If your intention is to use it topically, always ensure it is diluted in water and use it with moderation. Avoid direct application to the most sensitive areas and refrain from aggressive scrubbing. Think in terms of soothing baths, not enhancement therapies. And crucially, if you experience any irritation, persistent redness, or discomfort, discontinue its use immediately. I want to share the story of Martin, a 62-year-old gentleman who sought my consultation. He has kindly granted permission for me to share his experience anonymously, as he was completely convinced that his primary concern was related to his physical size. He had exhausted numerous avenues, including various exercises, massages, and homemade concoctions involving baking soda, lemon, and other mixtures, which had unfortunately left his skin irritated. When I gently probed about his most significant worries, he did not speak of centimeters. Instead, he articulated his deep-seated fear of failure, the discomfort he felt under his partner's gaze, and a recent instance where he struggled to achieve a stable erection, leaving him trapped in a cycle of shame. During our in-depth exploration, we uncovered several underlying issues: elevated blood pressure, a markedly sedentary lifestyle, poor sleep quality, and exceptionally high levels of chronic stress. His physical size, as it turned out, was not the core problem. His circulatory system and his mental state were the areas that truly required attention. We completely discontinued the use of all baking soda-related recipes and instead focused on implementing a consistent daily walking regimen, optimizing his blood pressure medication in consultation with his physician, improving his sleep hygiene, and creating a safe space for open communication with his partner. Several months later, his physical dimensions remained unchanged, but his erections had become significantly firmer. Most importantly, his overall self-confidence had undergone a profound and positive transformation. This is the fundamental lesson I wish to impart when we discuss what truly happens with your size. What can genuinely occur if you begin to employ baking soda wisely and, more importantly, prioritize your holistic health is a fundamental shift in your self-perception. You will cease to search for miraculous solutions in your pantry and will instead begin to cultivate tangible results within the health of your arteries, the strength of your heart, and the clarity of your mind. You can continue to utilize baking soda in your kitchen, perhaps as an aid for household cleaning, or even for gentle skin baths when superficial irritation arises. However, you will no longer view it as a magical shortcut, but simply as one tool among many within a comprehensive self-care routine. There is another crucial aspect that I do not wish to overlook: the importance of open communication and trust within a partnership. Many men begin to experience normal age-related physiological changes, erections that may take slightly longer to achieve, a slower recovery period, and less automatic responses. Instead of discussing these developments openly, they tend to withdraw, seek out quick fixes online, expose themselves to potentially dangerous advice, and engage in practices that not only fail to help, but can actively damage the skin, disrupt the delicate local flora, or cause significant irritation to the intimate area. The indiscriminate use of baking soda, for example, can lead to skin dryness, disrupt its natural protective balance, and increase unpleasant sensitivity. Imagine the ironic scenario. You are actively seeking to improve your intimate performance, only to end up experiencing discomfort from the mere sensation of your underwear against your skin. This is unequivocally not the path to improvement. Sometimes the most powerful and constructive action you can take for your intimate well-being is to share with your partner, "I am noticing some changes, and I want to take better care of myself. I would really appreciate it if we could talk about this together." It is also vital to underscore that vitality and the experience of maturity are not solely dictated by a single product. Instead, they arise from a harmonious symphony of interconnected factors. The health of your blood circulation is significantly enhanced by a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, quality proteins, and a conscious reduction in ultra-processed foods. Your hormonal balance is better supported when you prioritize sufficient sleep, effectively manage stress, and moderate your alcohol intake. Your nervous system and your intimate response are strengthened through sustained curiosity, the expression of affection, a playful spirit, and a deep emotional connection. Baking soda cannot replace any of these fundamental elements. No single powder can. However, when you actively take the reins of your own well-being, all these individual pieces begin to fall into place, creating a cohesive and supportive whole. And what you observe in the mirror is no longer solely about physical dimensions. It is about presence, it is about confidence, and it is about a profound sense of calm. At this juncture, you might be contemplating whether it is indeed worthwhile to continue using baking soda, or if it would be prudent to entirely remove it from your life. My response is straightforward. It is worthwhile to use it, provided you do so with a deep respect for its actual intended purpose and cease burdening it with unrealistic expectations that do not align with its capabilities. You can certainly keep it in your kitchen. You may choose to use it occasionally to alleviate mild acidity, assuming your current health status permits it, or for gentle skin baths when superficial irritation is present. However, it is crucial that you do not elevate it to the primary cornerstone of your strategy for improving your intimate health. For that endeavor, you possess far superior allies. Commit to walking for at least half an hour each day. Monitor your blood pressure regularly. Keep track of your glucose levels. Maintain a healthy body weight, make a determined effort to quit smoking, ensure you are adequately hydrated, and if the need arises, engage in a conversation with a qualified healthcare professional who can provide guidance through appropriate diagnostic tests and evidence-based treatment options. I wish to conclude this meeting with you with a clear and unambiguous statement. Your true size is not intrinsically linked to bicarbonate. It resides within the health of your circulation, the consistency of your habits, and most importantly, within the unwavering strength of your confidence. It is never too late to reclaim your vitality and maturity, to fortify your intimate response, and to cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment within your body. However, the path to achieving these goals does not involve miraculous shortcuts or deceptive promises. It demands conscious, sustained, and respectful decisions that honor your body's needs. If today you resolve to leave behind the allure of empty promises and commit to nurturing your health from its very roots, you are already embarking on a monumental step, one that far surpasses any centimeter gain that might be touted in an online video. If this message has prompted you to reflect, if you feel it has helped to deflate some persistent myths, while simultaneously igniting a fresh spark of hope, I warmly invite you to engage in a personal assessment of your own daily habits. Observe diligently what you are doing each day to support your circulation and your intimate well-being. I encourage you to share this content with a friend who may be entangled in the pursuit of miracle recipes or who harbors insecurities about their physical size. Sometimes, the simple act of hearing a calm, honest, and well-reasoned explanation can be the most valuable gift. And if you aspire to continue learning, to delve deeper into the intricacies of male health, and to approach the care of your intimate well-being with clear, actionable information, I wholeheartedly invite you to subscribe to this channel and join me in our upcoming discussions. Here, we will continue to converse with respect, free from taboos, about the elements that genuinely sustain your vitality and contribute to a fulfilling sense of maturity.